so as to help the youth to build the future, keeping in mind this relationship with the past generation. From all this will also depend the future, the quality of the relationship with the rest of the people. And in this topic, we also have to take into account the new technological society, which is increasing the gap between the generation, the possibility of using new technologies as young people do, but also we should look at it as in the way older people use it. This intergenerational solidarity has to bear in mind the fact that these two categories, youth and elderly, are also create problems. For example, the young people can't find work or jobs, and the elderly, who today, because of the economical situation, are in economical difficulties, abandoned, alone, elderly to whom we have to give more and more our attention. It is a very important pastoral topic in our church, and I would like to underline the sensitivity towards the elderly, underlined more than once by Pope Francis. So a pastoral topic we have to examine in depth, and we shall do that with this panel, which is starting with a young person, Ellard Alumando, from the community of Sant'Egidio in Malawi. A community of Sant'Egidio of around 7,000 members, all voluntary ones, and Ellard Alumando is working directly with the elderly and has started a reflection on changing conditions of the elderly in Africa. During this morning, I shall each time introduce the various speakers. So immediately I give the floor to Ellard Alumando.
Grazie, Angelo. I will speak in English so that I can express myself very well, because that's the language we speak in Malawi. The community of Sant'Egidio in Malawi was born in 1999, and it was in January when we had the beautiful Pan-African Congress in Zomba. And that's the first time that Andrea came to Malawi to meet different communities from different countries in the African region that do the community of Sant'Egidio. In Malawi, the community is made up of young people between the ages of 18 and 40 years. We all have the translation.
It's lovely. Lovely.
Okay. No, I understood something. So these are young people that have dedicated their lives to living in friendship, together in solidarity, with the hope for a better future for everyone. Everyone meaning the youth, the old, the poor, and the rich. Together, facing the future with the hope to bring a new culture to the society, to the African society. That is the culture of love. In this society of mine, discrimination against the elderly is increasing. The society has changed nowadays, as you may know, because of good living conditions, even in Africa. The life expectancy has increased. And this has become a gift to us. When you think of 20 to 40 years ago. But then this blessing continues to become like a curse when you grow old. With lots of elderly, that means we need to change also our mentality. With the good healthy, that means there is an increase in the number of the elderly in our society. And that's where the community of Sant'Egidio has been prophetic and became aware of it very, very, very early in the ages. We started to promote for the welfare of the elderly. In Malawi, we conducted the first high-level international conference on the elderly. High-level because we included different politicians and policymakers, including the president himself of the country. This was important because it helped us to change the policy on the elderly. Because you should understand that up to now, in Malawi, we don't have any policy on the elderly. The policy that takes care of the issues of the elderly. Due to the output of this conference, now I can gladly say that a bill is coming up. A bill that has gone to Parliament for debating so that we could have something that includes maybe pension even for the elderly in our country. This is thanks to the initiatives from the community of Sant'Egidio in Malawi, but also from the community of Sant'Egidio in Belgium, and also from the mother community, the community of Rome. Today, we must admit that the youth, we are becoming more individualistic with the global idea to become more educated and also independent. But this is a very important anthropological change. In this view, it means Africa has to find a way to build a good relationship between different generations. I would like to recall a little bit the words of Pope Francis that were said in Santa Maria in Trastevere in Rome on the visit to the community of Sant'Egidio, that a people who don't protect their elderly, who don't take care of their young, is a people without a future, a people without hope. Because the young, the children, the youth, and the old carry history forward. The children, the young, they rightly have their biological strength. The elderly offer their memory to the children. But when a community loses its memory, that means it's over. It's over. It's off to see a community, a people that has lost its memory. That's the end of quote from the Pope. So Africa is no longer as it was in the past. With this healthy development and more economic stability, we need new policies and a new role of the public sector facing those challenges. An old mentality continue to exist. You know, the prejudice about the elderly, exercising the witchcraft. Even though I've just said that the education level and standards have improved in the past years, but still this prejudice continues to exist. It is unacceptable that after many years of hard working and perseverance in order to develop our nations, to build our countries, an old person should be subjected to such prejudice, which I would call like a mental torture. It is important that at that level, we need to appreciate the improvement of life and mankind. The mentality of the fact that what does not produce must be discarded, must be countered. Therefore, our first meeting with the poor our first meeting, meaning the community of Sant'Egidio, the youth in Malawi, with the poor, the elderly, is a two-way relationship. I will give an example of our elderly, Minus Nyenda, who once told us, one of us, when we visited her in her home, that whenever you come to me, I no longer feel lonely. God has sent me angels to accompany me on my sad journey back. It is indeed a sad journey of loneliness in the dark. Life where no one wants to care about you, but rather than they would want to see you dead because you are always bothering them, is a sad journey. It is a long journey in the dark because they stay in their houses without seeing the house, without seeing their sun. They are enclosed in the house without going outside. Therefore, our simple visit to her home is being described as the angel's visit. She has learned that young people can also be respectful to the elderly, because then, after such prejudices, after so many accusations, the elderly start to fear the youth now. This is in contrast to the fact that in the old people used to be those that have sweet stories to tell to the young people. Stories full of richness of culture and many teachings. Nowadays, with our initiative, the youth have started to visit the elderly and they enjoy this encounter. And they've always come back telling real life stories that have touched them. They always refer them as a library of stories. The youth that visit the elderly will always come back with good stories. On the face of the elderly, we see both the sweetness of life and also the struggle of life. This helps us to remove our own sadness, because the youth also in Malawi have got their own sadness. The lack of the job, the lack of the education brings their own internal sadness. Now when they face the challenges of the elderly, it makes them to think and to say, okay, I can overcome this. It's a new society we are building, an alliance of generations where both of us give and receive. We give our strength to the elderly and they give us their words of wisdom and blessings. Their prayers are a blessing to us, a treasure to our life, the life of the community. One elderly once, and I will always remember this, when they say, don't take long without coming back to see me. I may die in the silence. So they don't want us to leave them. They want us to be with them. We present them the gift of the new life, life that has accompanied them all along since the time we met them. It is a mutual respect. Jesus told Peter that when you were young, you used to get ready and go anywhere you want to go. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will bind you and take you where you don't want to go. This helps all of us, the youth especially, to understand that we will all grow and become weak, and that we will need assistance from other people. The fact that you are alone and poor in this society, in that society in Malawi, is also another problem, because it's a society where the elderly live without the pension. This also removes their own self-confidence and makes them useless and irrelevant. Apart from the simple visits the community conducts every day in different parts of Malawi, we also try to involve the elderly in different outdoor initiatives, activities that are done by the youth. We make them the reference point for ourselves. Whenever the youth have organized dinners or public functions, such as debates or topical issues, the elderly people have always been at the front guiding us, guiding our speeches. Our speeches are always coming just by the fact that we have made them. We don't just create the speech in the boardroom. In fact, the relatives of most of these elderly people have changed their mentality, because most times they discarded them. But now that they have seen us visiting them most of the times, they've said, oh, if they can visit them, what about ourselves? So they have changed their mentality. They have started to ask to come and stay with their relatives. No more talking about witchcraft. In the end, they view them as part of the richness of their own generation. The society around them, the relatives, have always said that they have learned something from our visits. We have become, as what is said in the gospel, that the visit of Mary to her cousin Elizabeth. Mary was with enthusiasm and in a hurry visiting her old cousin, a sign of love and care. This is seen in us as well. We feel in a hurry visiting the elderly people because for them, we know that we are consoled through them and we become encouraged through them. We are going against the currency of the world and in this way trying to remove the roots of hatred and plant the roots of love. Thank you.
Grazie Ellard, veramente per questa...
Thank you, Ellard, for this very vivid speech, telling us about the relationship between the elderly and the youth in Africa, a relationship which is changing at the moment in a changing world.